FBI Director Kash Patel has announced he is moving the FBI building itself. Now, this is a good time to talk about the name of the building. J. Edgar Hoover's name still adorns the FBI headquarters, despite a legacy steeped in blackmail, illegal surveillance, racism, and political manipulation, in the traditional senses of the word. While Hoover modernized federal law enforcement, he introduced fingerprint files, he introduced forensic labs and civil rights protocols. Director Hoover also stockpiled secret files to intimidate presidents and senators. He spied unlawfully on Martin Luther King Jr., among others. He enabled McCarthyism to the chagrin of some, ignored organized crime, and used FBI resources for personal gain. Former FBI officials admit Director Hoover would be prosecuted under today's standards. As calls grow to erase offensive symbols from public life, it all raises a very interesting question as the current FBI director moves to change fundamentally the way this building operates and, in fact, maybe even vacate it. Ronald Kessler has argued that no single name is more overdue for removal than Hoover's from the agency he corrupted. Joining us now is veteran investigative journalist and historian Ron Kessler, whose reporting has exposed the hidden operations of America's intelligence community and law enforcement for decades. He is exactly the man to have for this segment. Ron, thank you so much for joining us. Talk to us about this argument you've made. You've made this argument for quite some time, that Hoover's name should not be continued if the FBI would ever move its location.
Yes, exactly. You know, I wrote this with an example of cancel culture, which is totally foolish in most cases. The example was a judge ordered the removal of portraits of former judges in his courtroom because he said they were all white and the defendant in this case was black, and somehow that was going to intimidate the black defendant. But in contrast, the FBI headquarters...
How do you think that, you know, if we...
Go ahead.
No, I was wondering, I mean, you've studied the FBI for decades now, and you've spoken to so many insiders over the years. What do you think of the change in culture that is happening now in D.C.?
Well, the real abuse has occurred under Jim Comey and his deputy, Andrew McCabe, 6 years ago. They were incredible. They were shameful. But since then, there hasn't been any real evidence of any politicization to speak of. You know, you can argue about a few cases. But it's good to make sure that this is brought out again. There may be additional points that did not come out before. For example, I wrote a column revealing really a bigger story, which is that Andrew McCabe, as deputy director, says in his own book that he started the investigation into Trump, not into his campaign, which was already ongoing, but rather targeting Trump based on the interview that Trump gave to Lester Holt on NBC, in which he said, well, when I fired Comey, I thought about this Russia thing, and it was all sort of confusing. But then he went on to say, you know, but I realized that by firing Comey, the previous investigation would take longer, but I wanted it to be done professionally. I wanted it to be done well. Well, in his book, McCabe left out those additional comments. And of course, Trump did not shut down the previous investigation.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.